This guy's name is Wee-gyeom. His academic achievements are always admired by others, but behind that talent is a harsh life. After Wee-gyeom returned from the tutoring center, his father supervised his studies all night. If he made a mistake in a calculation, his father would hit him on the head. Only when Wee-gyeom solved the problem correctly did his father gently pat his head and encourage him. The pressure of life caused Wee-gyeom to show signs of depression. He wanted to try taking his mother's medicine, but when his mother asked him why, he didn't say anything more. Every night, Wee-gyeom always felt suffocated, as if someone was strangling him. The only thing that could calm him down was his old music player. That's why Wee-gyeom always wore headphones. For some reason, Wee-gyeom's father transferred him to another school. The homeroom teacher smiled happily when he heard about Wee-gyeom's academic performance. When faced with the praise from the new homeroom teacher, there was no joy on Wee-gyeom's face. Wee-gyeom's eyes were still empty. Wee-gyeom looked like a soulless robot. The homeroom teacher led Wee-gyeom back to class. While the teacher was introducing Wee-gyeom to her classmates, Junki sneaked into the classroom because he was late. When the homeroom teacher saw Junki, he could only helplessly scold a few sentences. After Wee-gyeom walked to his seat, the teacher gave each person a piece of paper stating their dreams and plans for the future. He asked everyone to complete it and submit it to him. That night, his father saw the paper. Wee-gyeom's father immediately filled in his dream of becoming a doctor. Even though Wee-gyeom didn't like it, he didn't have a chance to protest. The next day, Wee-gyeom just arrived at class when he encountered school violence. Hong-il and his gang were beating up a classmate just because the classmate didn't buy him bread. Wee-gyeom didn't care about them. He quietly went to his seat and started doing his homework. While bullying the classmate, Hong-il accidentally dropped Wee-gyeom's music player. Wee-gyeom quickly picked it up to check. Seeing Hong-il continuously knocking on his friend's head, Wee-gyeom immediately thought of his father's actions. That made Wee-gyeom agitated. He angrily shouted at Hong-il. His actions surprised everyone. Hong-il saw that a new student like Wee-gyeom dared to oppose him, so he stepped on Wee-gyeom. Hong-il was angry at Wee-gyeom's rude actions, so he beat Wee-gyeom up. No one around dared to stop him. Hong-il only stopped when the bell rang. After school, Hong-il and his gang blocked Wee-gyeom's way again. Hong-il asked Wee-gyeom how much money she had. When Wee-gyeom took out her wallet, Hong-il grabbed it. Seeing a wad of money in the wallet, Hong-il confirmed that Wee-gyeom was rich. Hong-il then forced Wee-gyeom to save his phone number. Hong-il threatened Wee-gyeom to reply to messages within 10 seconds. If she was 1 second late, Wee-gyeom would be punched once. When Hong-il let Wee-gyeom leave, he bragged to Song-jun. But Song-jun didn't think Wee-gyeom was afraid of him. Wee-gyeom didn't show any fear on her face. Hong-il didn't believe Song-jun's words. Wee-gyeom was definitely scared. After Wee-gyeom returned home, he repeated his usual routine of studying under his father's supervision and self-harming before going to sleep. The next day, on the way to take Wee-gyeom to school, his father warned him that if he got a low score on the next test, he would be demoted to an intermediate class at cram school. At this moment, Hong-il texted Wee-gyeom and told him to remember to buy bread to bring to class. Wee-gyeom turned off his phone and ignored Hong-il. When Wee-gyeom arrived at class, Hong-il asked him about the bread. Wee-gyeom said that he forgot. Seeing Wee-gyeom's expressionless face, Hong-il angrily grabbed his earphone. Hong-il found the music player interesting, so he thought it would belong to him from now on. Wee-gyeom couldn't let go of the music player, so he called Hong-il and asked him to return it. Wee-gyeom also explained in a low voice that it was his important item. Hong-il didn't expect someone to dare to ask for it back from him. Hong-il scolded Wee-gyeom for being crazy, but Wee-gyeom still wouldn't give in. Wee-gyeom insisted on getting the music player back. Even if he was knocked down, Wee-gyeom still wanted Hong-il to return it. Seeing Wee-gyeom's tense expression, Hong-il took off the headphones and said that he would pay. When Wee-gyeom got closer, Hong-il let go and let the player fall freely to the floor. Not only that, he stepped on the player and looked at Wee-gyeom with a provocative gaze. Hong-il knocked Wee-gyeom on the head and cursed him badly. Wee-gyeom stared at Hong-il and punched him. Hong-il bumped into Junki's desk, waking him up. Junki put on his glasses and stood up to give the stage to the two. Hong-il couldn't bear to lose. He told his accomplices to close the classroom door and kicked Wee-gyeom. The two of them just rushed into battle. The tables and chairs in the classroom were pushed over. The classmates could only stand by and watch. In the end, Hong-il was pinned to the floor by Wee-gyeom. Wee-gyeom's hand tightened around Hong-il's neck. Hong-il's accomplice saw that the situation was not good, so he wanted to step forward to stop it, but Junki stopped him. This was a confrontational fight, so no one could interfere. When Wee-gyeom strangled Hong-il, he almost lost all reason. When Wee-gyeom regained consciousness, he quickly released Hong-il. Then, Wee-gyeom went to check his music player. Hong-il still refused to give up and wanted to throw a chair at Wee-gyeom, but the plan failed. Wee-gyeom punched Hong-il twice more. This time, Hong-il was really knocked out. Wee-gyeom put on his headphones to calm down. Wee-gyeom walked to his seat while panting. After sitting at his desk, Wee-gyeom continued to solve the problems as if nothing had happened. After school, Junki chased after Wee-jum. Junki praised Wee-jum for being good at fighting. Junki warned Wee-jum to prepare for the next fight. Hong-il's friends would definitely not let Wee-jum off. On the way to the cram school, Wee-jum recalled the feeling of beating Hong-il. A flash of joy appeared on Wee-jum's face, making him forget to get out of the car. As a result, Wee-jum was late for the cram school. The other students had already started taking the test. His father found out about his lateness. As soon as he saw Wee-jum coming home from school, his father asked him why he was late. Wee-jum lied and said that he had fallen asleep on the bus. Seeing that Wee-jum's father wanted to mention the test again, his mother deliberately turned up the volume of the TV. Wee-jum's father told him to go in and prepare to study. As soon as Wee-jum entered the room, he saw his late brother. His brother let him try out the music player and told him to listen to music with all his heart. Wee-jum didn't expect to see his brother again. He had a lot of things to say to his brother, but before Wee-jum could say anything, he heard his father open the door and enter. It turned out to be an illusion. The next morning, as soon as Wee-jum arrived at school, he was chased by Hong-il and his men. When Wee-jum saw Hong-il, he took the initiative to apologize to him, but Hong-il didn't want to let it go. When it was time for recess, Wee-jum was in the bathroom when Song-jun walked up and kicked him. He told everyone to go outside. When everyone was scared and ran out, Junki squeezed in to be the audience. Song-jun walked up to Wee-jum and asked if he was rude to Hong-il. Wee-jum said that he apologized to Hong-il. Moreover, Hong-il was the one who started it. Song-jun didn't listen to the end of the sentence. He threw a punch at Wee-jum's face. Song-jun was a martial arts practitioner, so his punch injured Wee-jum. Song-jun asked Wee-jum to kneel down and apologize. While the two were looking at each other tensely, the homeroom teacher suddenly appeared. The teacher thought the student was hiding in there to smoke. When he saw that Wee-jum was injured, he immediately told Junki to take him to the infirmary. The teacher stayed behind to deal with Song-jun. The teacher didn't expect him to beat up the new transfer student. The teacher scolded Song-jun for being an idiot who didn't know what manners were and didn't know how to contact his mother. He didn't even know where his mother was. The teacher's taunts made Song-jun's hand tighten behind his back. After returning to class, Junki kept following Wee-jum to talk. Junki told Wee-jum not to swing his fist at Song-jun, but to wrestle with him so that Wee-jum would have a chance to win. Wee-jum had no intention of fighting, so he asked Junki not to talk to him anymore. A while later, Wee-jum returned from the bathroom and found that her music player was gone. Hong-il called Wee-jum. Hong-il wanted Wee-jum to come to the meeting place to get her music player back. When Junki saw Wee-jum leave, he immediately picked up his bag and followed her. When Wee-jum arrived, Song-jun asked them to fight before he would return the music player. Wee-jum didn't want to fight, but Song-jun didn't let him go. Song-jun just got up and attacked, making Wee-jum dizzy. Wee-jum had no choice but to put down his bag and confront Song-jun. At first, Wee-jum was completely beaten. Every time he was knocked down, Wee-jum quickly got up. Wee-jum's stubbornness made Song-jun feel amazed at his genius mind. Wee-jum quickly analyzed Song-jun's speed and moves. In the next punch, Wee-jum tricked Song-jun and quickly counterattacked. Song-jun did not expect Wee-jum to be able to punch him. He angrily continued to punch. Wee-jum remembered what Junki had said, that he had to rush in and roll around to have a chance to win. Taking advantage of the opportunity when Song-jun was distracted, Wee-jum rushed to hug Song-jun and forced him near the stairs. As a result, both of them fell down. Wee-jum was lucky to be fine, but Song-jun seemed to have a broken leg. Wee-jum took the opportunity to continuously kick Song-jun's legs, making him unable to stand up. Song-jun could only hold his head to defend himself. Wee-jum looked at Song-jun at his feet, and he was angry and cursed while hitting. "Why did you cause me trouble?" Hong-in was extremely scared when he saw Song-jun lose. His eyes looked at Wee-jum as if he saw a demon. When Wee-jum signaled Hong-il to return the music player, he could only obediently return it to Wee-jum. After leaving the battle, Wee-jum hurriedly went to the bathroom to wash off the blood on his body. Junki stood by and commented on the battle. Wee-jum suddenly asked Junki why he was so nice to me. Junki thought for a moment and replied that it was probably out of personal curiosity. Junki said that because from the first time he saw Wee-jum, Junki knew that he was a talented fighter. At this moment, Wee-jum's phone notified him of a message from his father that his extra class had started a long time ago. His father asked him why he hadn't come to class yet. Wee-jum panicked and asked to borrow Junki's shirt. Junki knew that Wee-jum had to go to school, so he offered to wash Wee-jum's shirt. Junki also gave Wee-jum a bottle of foundation to cover the wound on his face. The next day, Song-jun's group was called by the seniors. The news that Song-jun lost to a nerd made them feel embarrassed. Ji-hook grabbed Song-jun and asked him if he was going to duel or compete. "Don't think that hitting more punches means winning. Just hit Wee-jum on the head with a brick." Ji-hook told them to go back and find Wee-jum and find a way to defeat him. Otherwise, Ji-hook would not let them off. Under pressure from Ji-hook, Song-jun decided to take a risk. He waited for Wee-jum to leave the school and approached Wee Jum on his motorbike. As soon as the distance was right, he used a wooden stick to hit Wee Jum hard on the back of her neck. Song Jun's sudden action surprised Junki. Junki worriedly checked on Wee Jum's condition. Seeing Wee Jum's neck bleeding, Junki wanted to call an ambulance but was stopped by Wee Jum. Wee Jum didn't want his parents to know. Wee Jum then fainted. While in a coma, Wee Jum remembered the time when his brother passed away. His mother cried so hard that she was heartbroken. When Wee Jum woke up, Junki took him to the hospital. As soon as he woke up, Wee Jum quickly pulled out the IV. He had to go to the tutoring center. Junki tried to stop Wee Jum. At that moment, Wee Jum's parents appeared at the hospital door. Seeing their injured son, they were both stunned for a moment. Wee Jum's father wanted to know what happened to him. Wee Jum didn't know how to answer. Junki spoke up for Wee Jum and said that Wee Jum fell down the stairs. There were many people who had fallen on that path. Wee Jum's father looked Junki up and down and asked Junki's ranking. Junki shyly said that he was not good at studying. Junki's answer made his father Wee Jum unhappy. Junki was quick to notice this and quickly asked for permission to leave first. After Junki left, Wee Jum kept apologizing to his parents for making them worry. His father looked straight into his eyes and told him to be more careful not to get hurt or sick. While Wee Jum's mother was sitting in the hallway, an accident patient was wheeled into the hospital. The sight of the patient reminded her of her deceased son. She clutched her chest uncomfortably and struggled to catch her breath. Seeing her look uncomfortable, Song Jun approached her to ask her how she was. Seeing Song Jun's uniform, she thought he was a friend visiting her son. Song Jun felt that she misunderstood, but he did not explain. When he heard her say that Wee Jum was fine, Song Jun breathed a sigh of relief. Before that, he was still afraid that he had been too harsh. When Song Jun saw that Wee Jum's mother wanted to take him to the hospital room, he quickly said that he needed to go home. Only then did she notice the wound on Song Jun's face. She worriedly told him to apply medicine. Seeing her son injured like this, his mother must be very worried. Wee Jum's mother's words made Song Jun's emotions fluctuate. Song Jun suddenly apologized to her and turned around to run away. After returning home, Wee Jum's mother advised him to skip school tomorrow. But Wee Jum said he was fine. He couldn't skip school or he would drop his grades. His mother suddenly called him over and asked if he was blaming her. She came over and wanted to talk to him. He said he had to study. Then he turned around and went to sleep. The next morning, Song Jun was waiting in the hallway. Wee Jum saw Song Jun and immediately went over to talk to him. Wee Jum said he wouldn't hold it against Song Jun for playing dirty and that this matter should end here. Song Jun warned Wee Jum to live quietly from now on and stop making trouble. Because Song Jun still couldn't deal with Wee Jum, he was punished by Ji-hook. Song Jun explains that Wee Jum won't play tricks anymore, but Ji-hook doesn't listen. Ji-hool asked Song Jun to lead him to Wee Jum. Before Song Jun could answer, Hong In quickly led the way for Ji-hook. Seeing that Ji-hook wanted to cause trouble in class, Junki approached and said that if there was a fight, he would have to report it to the homeroom teacher. Ji-hook angrily looked at two of them. He told them to meet him on the rooftop. On the rooftop, Ji-hook pointed his sword at Wee Jum and asked why he wanted to cause trouble. Facing Ji-hook, Wee Jum only said sorry. It was all his fault, so he asked Ji-hook to forgive Junki. Ji-hook didn't expect Wee Jum to ask for forgiveness for someone else. He agreed. Then Ji-hook asked Junki to go aside, but he wouldn't let Hong In and Song Jun's matter go. Wee Jum would have to receive a suitable punishment. Ji-hook called Song Jun over and made them both stand facing each other. Ji-hook made Wee Jum apologize to Song Jun and then told Song Jun to feed Wee Jum with begging. Ji-hook's words made everyone around laugh with delight, but Song Jun still didn't act. Ji-hook was angry because Song Jun didn't listen to him. Ji-hook hit Song Jun hard on the leg and then used his sword to hit him. The more Ji-hook hit, the more excited the upperclassman became. Wee Jum couldn't stand still when he saw Song Jun gritting his teeth to endure the beating. He walked over and grabbed the sword. Wee Jum asked Junki if he finished with this guy, how many more would come to cause trouble. Junki said there would be 2 more, so if he finished with these 2, Wee Jum could stop fighting. Knowing the exact number, Wee Jum threw away his sword. Without his sword, Ji-hook was just like any other student. Wee Jum attacked Ji-hook directly. During the fight, Ji-hook took the opportunity to pick up the sword. With a sword in his hand, Ji-hook became aggressive. Ji-hook angrily hit Wee Jum. After knocking Wee Jum down, Ji-hook pressed his sword against Wee Jum's neck and asked him if he knew what fear was. The feeling of suffocation at this moment reminded Wee Jum of the times he hurt himself every night. Everyone around excitedly cheered for Ji-hook. At this moment, Song Jun stepped forward and kicked Ji-hook away. Song Jun's action surprised everyone. They rushed to surround Song Jun. Ji-hook angrily told everyone to get out of the way because this was a fight between him and Wee Jum. Wee Jum knew that Ji-hook's advantage was the sword, so he immediately tried to take the sword away. After a while of being beaten, Wee Jum finally got the sword. Wee Jum threw the sword aside and let Ji-hook experience what continuous boxing was like. The last punch successfully successfully sent Ji-hook flying. After knocking Ji-hook down, Wee-jum picked up the sword and destroyed it. After the battle, Wee-jum looked up at the sky to watch a plane fly by. While washing his hands, Wee-jum asked Jun-ki for the names of the 2 remaining people. Jun-ki immediately said that they were Sung-sik and Sung-woo from grade 12. If Ji-hook failed, he would tell on the other 2. On the way back to class, Wee-jum had a bit of difficulty walking. Just then, a man dressed as a human took the initiative to help him. Before Wee-jum could understand what was happening, he heard the teacher calling the man Sung-sik. The teacher asked Sung-sik why he didn't go to the staff room. Sung-sik said that he would go to the staff room right away after he helped his classmate who had a sore leg. After helping Wee-jum to class, Sung-sik asked Wee-jum if he had any money. Doing good deeds made him thirsty. Wee-jum didn't understand what was going on, but still took out the money and gave it to Sung-sik. After school, Wee-jum has a test at the cram school. He did poorly on his last test, so he was transferred to an intermediate class. While doing the test, the image of the fight kept appearing in his mind, making him lose focus on the test. When it was time to return the test, Wee-jum only got 94 points and was not at top of the intermediate class. The teacher even made fun of Wee-jum. When the extra class ended, Wee-jum ran into Sung-sik and his gang. Wee-jum knew who Sung-sik was, so he wanted to end things here. Sung-sik was different. Today, he didn't want to fight, he just wanted to talk normally. At that moment, Wee-gyum's father came to pick him up. As soon as he got in the car, his father asked him about that people. Wee-gyum lied that they saw him wearing the same school uniform, so they came to ask him something. His father knew at first glance that those were bad students. His father didn't want him to hang out with them. Strength is divided into 2 types: temporary strength and lasting strength. His father wanted him to try to achieve lasting strength. Wee-gyum saw that they were not on their way home, so he asked his father. His father replied that he would take him to his grandfather's house this weekend. They would now go get a suit made for him. The tailor was an acquaintance of their family. During the conversation, the tailor mentioned Wee-gyum's brother and asked how he was doing. Surprisingly, Wee-gyum's father did not reveal that Wee-gyum's brother had passed away. Wee-gyum's father tried to smile and said that he was doing well. The next day, as soon as Wee-gyum arrived at the classroom door, he saw Sung-sik and Sung-wook waiting for him. Sung-sik followed Wee-gyum to his seat and said, "I don't want to fight with you." Sung-sik found Wee-gyum very interesting, so he wanted to tease Wee-gyum. Sung-sik glanced at the people outside the classroom. With just one sentence from him, no one dared to enter this class. That was the power of the ruler. Wee-gyum didn't care about that power. Wee-gyum only saw Sung-sik as a punk. Wee-gyum didn't want to play with him. Sung-sik laughed when he heard Wee-gyum say that. Sung-sik stood up and drank most of the bottle of Coke in his hand. Then he poured the rest on Wee-gyum's head. Just as Wee-gyum wanted to fight, Jun-ki signaled him not to act rashly. After school, Wee-gyum's whole family came to celebrate his grandfather's birthday. Wee-gyum's grandfather ignored his parents. He just held out his hand and led Wee-gyum to the banquet table. Wee-gyum's whole family had a tradition of being doctors. Only Wee-gyum's father did not pursue a medical career. That made Wee-gyum's grandfather very unhappy. Even Wee-gyum's grandfather was not happy about transferring schools. It was only when Wee-gyum said that he really liked the new school that his grandfather stopped complaining. When the party ended, his grandfather led Wee-gyum into his room and poured him a glass of wine. Wee-gyum refused to drink because he was still a minor. That made his grandfather unhappy. Compared to Wee-gyum's father, his grandfather was even more harsh and domineering. Wee-gyum had no choice but to take the glass of wine and drink it. Ever since Wee-gyum's father went into business, Wee-gyum's grandfather had helped him a lot. Now, with just one word from his grandfather, Wee-gyum's father would have to stop doing that business. His grandfather told Wee-gyum that when he wanted to run away, he had to endure even more. Wee-gyum's father and brother were the ones who couldn't endure that moment. Only by enduring could one become a person with power. His grandfather advised Wee-gyum to go back to his old school and live in a fiercely competitive environment in order to rise higher. Moreover, Wee-gyum's brother had also studied there. Wee-gyum looked at his grandfather and said he liked his current school better. If he went back to his old school, he would die there. His grandfather didn't expect Wee-gyum to say that. He felt that Wee-gyum's father had ruined Wee-gyum. After leaving his grandfather's room, Wee-gyum saw his brother's image by the lake. Wee-gyum walked towards his brother until he fell into the lake. Everyone panicked and called out Wee-gyum's name. Wee-gyum's father quickly brought him to shore. When his mother learned that his grandfather had given Wee-gyum alcohol, she was dissatisfied and spoke up. The grandfather did not see that he had done anything wrong. A son must be raised with strength. Both his father and mother were weak and could not even control their children. It was because of that weakness that Wee-gyum's brother grew up so early. Seeing the tense atmosphere, Wee-gyum's uncle advised his grandfather to go into the room. The next day, Wee-gyum wanted to fight Sung-sik. Jun-ki quickly stopped Wee-gyum. Jun-ki advised Wee-gyum to wait until her leg was completely healed before going, but Wee-gyum refused. He didn't want to bow to them anymore. That made Weegyum feel ashamed. Weegyum went to Sung-sik's class and saw him drinking coke. Sung-sik ordered his classmates to leave the class and then offered Weegyum a coke. He thought Weegyum would refuse, but Weegyum grabbed the coke bottle and poured it on Sung-sik's head. Sung-sik was surprised by Weegyum's actions. He tilted his head back and took the coke and laughed happily. Weegyum wanted to settle this here. Sung-sik wanted to go outside. As soon as Sung-sik turned to leave, Weegyum threw the empty bottle at him. Sung-sik didn't expect Weegyum to be so interesting, but before the fight could start, it was stopped by the appearance of the teacher. The teacher warned Sung-sik not to expel his classmates from the class anymore. Sung-sik saw the teacher coming and obediently did as he was told. When the teacher left, Sung-sik asked Weegyum to come find him at the club office during lunch break. During lunch break, Weegyum and Junki came to find Sung-sik. Sung-sik calmly solved a Rubik's Cube and asked Weegyum if he wanted to play with me or if he wanted to die here. Weegyum didn't want to play with Sung-sik. Weegyum wanted to finish as soon as possible so he could go home and study. Sung-sik threw the ruby to his friends and then rushed to attack Weegyum. After being hit a few times by Sung-sik, Weegyum successfully pushed him to the floor. But Sung-sik was different from the others. Even when he was at a disadvantage, he could turn the situation around. Sung-sik turned around and squeezed Weegyum's neck. The feeling of not being able to hold his breath reminded Weegyum of the times he had hurt himself. Sung-sik squeezed Weegyum tightly. Only when Weegyum's whole body went limp did Sung-sik let go and stood up. Sung-sik's friends looked at Weegyum motionless on the floor, afraid that Sung-sik would accidentally kill Weegyum. After dealing with Weegyum, Sung-sik turned to Junki. Actually, Sung-sik was also interested in Junki. Sung-sik asked Junki to join his team. He assured Junki that the older brothers would take good care of him. Junki was timid, but he also hated losing face. Junki took off his glasses and prepared to fight Sung-sik. At that moment, Weegyum on the ground suddenly moved. Weegyum tried to regulate his breathing. Sung-sik saw this and told Junki to wait a moment. He and Weegyum continued their fight. With just a few moves, Sung-sik pinned Weegyum to the floor. Sung-sik strangled Weegyum while laughing at Weegyum for not knowing his own strength. Surprisingly, this time, Weegyum turned the tables. Weegyum pinned Sung-sik to the floor and punched him repeatedly in the face. Sung-yuke saw that the situation was not good, so he stepped forward to help Sung-sik, but Junki stopped him. Junki will help Weegyum deal with Sung-uk. Sung-sik takes advantage of Weegyum's distraction to escape from Weegyum. Sung-sik tells Weegyum to rest for a while so he can watch Sung-uk and Junki's fight. Sung-uk and Junki's fight ends very quickly. The winner is Junki. Sung-sik feels that these kids are getting more and more interesting. He signaled Weegyum to continue the fight. The two continued to charge at each other. Sung-sik intended to break Weegyum's arm, but at the last minute, Weegyum hit him back. Weegyum used a kick to make Sung-sik dizzy, then Weegyum chained him by the neck like he did to Weegyum. Only when Sung-sik passed out did Weegyum warn Sung-sik's gang not to disturb his studies anymore. When Weegyum stepped outside, a plane flew by. Weegyum stopped to look at the plane. Since the death of Weegyum's brother, his mother has been traumatized. She still hasn't overcome that pain, but she needs to be strong to protect Weegyum. She went to see a psychologist and found a way to deal with pain. That night, Weegyum lost focus in the extra class again. The teacher saw that Weegyum was not doing her homework, so he hit Weegyum on the head. The teacher's every touch made Weegyum uncomfortable. Weegyum raised her hand to stop the teacher. The teacher did not expect Weegyum to rebel. He angrily sent Weegyum out of the classroom. When Weegyum's father found out, he angrily scolded Weegyum. The teacher explained that he thought Weegyum wanted to rebel against him. Weegyum's father raised his hand to hit Weegyum, but then stopped. Weegyum's father said he would call the center. Weegyum should come and apologize in person the next day. When his father left the room, Weegyum put on his headphones and went to bed to hurt himself. Only this way could he calm down. After a while, Junki calls Weegyum outside to talk. Weegyum thinks Sung-sik's group is causing trouble again, but it's not. Junki called Weegyum because Junki wants to show him a video. There's a bully from Weegyum's old school named Nam-hun who enjoys bullying his classmates. Junki suggests forming a team to eliminate school bullies. Junki also realizes that Weegyum will feel comfortable fighting. Weegyum refused when he heard that. He just wanted to focus on his studies now. Then he stood up and left. At that moment, a male student ran up to them. He thanked Weegyum. Ever since Weegyum had taught Hong-il, he had not been bullied anymore. Weegyum did not do that for everyone. He only did it for himself. He was a little surprised when Weegyum did not accept his water bottle. Junki saw this and immediately told the boy to give him the water bottle. That night, Weegyum's father took him to a fancy event. There would be many medical university professors there. His father wanted to bring Weegyum to ask the professors in advance. The professors also brought their children to the event. If Weegyum could get to know them, it would be helpful for him in the future. While chatting with everyone, Weegyum unexpectedly met a man named Nam-huin. Looking at Nam-huin's polite appearance, it was hard to imagine that he was a bully. Nam Huyen was the son of a famous professor. He also won a grand prize for a project to support beatings for disabled students. While Wee Jum's father was praising Nam Huyen, Wee Jum suddenly mentioned the school violence incident. The smile on Nam Huyen's lips quickly disappeared. Nam Huyen's father said that it was just a bad rumor. Wee Jum's father didn't understand what was wrong with him. Wee Jum's father apologized to Nam Huyen and took Wee Jum outside. His father asked Wee Jum why he mentioned that. Talented people always have false rumors, but that was not a rumor. Wee Jum had seen Nam Huyen extorting money from other students. Wee Jum's father angrily reminds him that there are only two types of people: those who rob and those who are robbed. This world is just that cruel. Wee Jum's father tells him to adjust his state and apologize to Nam Hyun. Wee Jum's job is to become that kind of talented. This time, Wee Jum didn't listen to his father anymore. Wee Jum didn't want to become such a bad person. If his father kept forcing him like this, he was afraid he would be like his brother. His father immediately slapped him. Wee Jum didn't want to argue with his father anymore. He turned around and left, leaving his father staring blankly at the scenery outside. After leaving, Wee Jum thought for a long time. Finally, Wee Jum went to Junki's house. He decided to go and catch that Nam Huyen. The next day, Nam Huyen continued to find Sung-uk to bully him. Sung-uk couldn't stand it anymore. That night, Sung-uk went to the school's rooftop with the intention of self-control. Just as Sung-uk was about to jump down, he was scared and stepped back. Sung-uk sat there helplessly to calm his head. When Nam Huyen's group found Sung-uk, they dragged Sung-uk down to the schoolyard. When Namhyun's juniors asked who they were, Junki introduced himself as school superheroes. Wee Jum rushed straight to Namhyun. Junki dealt with his juniors. Wee Jum was an adopter, so he could imitate other people's moves and make them his own. While fighting Namhyun, Wee Jum used Songjun's boxing punch, but Namhyun was not useless. Seeing that Wee Jum was in a weak position, Junki rushed to help. Wee Jum understood Junki's intentions. He immediately turned back to deal with Namhyun's remaining juniors. Junki was also no match for Namhyun. After Wee Jum finished off Namhyun's juniors, he told Junki to rest. Wee Jum beat Namhyun up and finished with a spinning kick. After finishing, Junki told Wee Jum to take out his phone and record it. Junki called Sung-uk over so Namhyun could bow his head and apologize and ask Sung-uk for forgiveness. Junki said that if Sung-uk didn't like it, he might not forgive Namhyun. Sung-uk really hated Namhyun. With Junki's encouragement, he really rushed forward and kicked Namhyun. The first victory made both of them extremely happy. Junki even bought beer to celebrate the victory. Wee Jum sent a video of Namhyun apologizing to Junki. It was unexpected that Namhyun would be so afraid of Junki. After celebrating, the two quickly changed back into their school uniforms. Junki was in charge of taking the clothes home to wash. Junki wanted to invite Wee Jum to eat, but Wee Jum refused because he had to quickly go to the tutoring center. Junki watched Wee Jum leave with disappointment. Then he turned around and went to the hospital to visit a friend named Ji-sung. Junki told Ji-sung about Namhyun's appearance when he knelt down. But no matter how much Junki talked, Ji-sung still didn't have the slightest reaction. It seemed that Ji-sung had been bullied by Namhyun. The next day, Wee Jum and Junki took the midterm exam together. Wee Jum did his homework seriously, while Junki just did it haphazardly and fell asleep. During recess, Hongyul told Songjun to bring Wee Jum back to Jihyuk. Otherwise, Jihyuk would get angry at Songjun. Now Songjun has returned to boxing practice. He doesn't want to be involved with those guys anymore. Hongyul doesn't accept it. He still tries to convince Songjun to come back. Just then, Wee Jum saw this scene, so he immediately went up to warn these guys not to bother Songjun anymore. Let him practice. Hongyul still doesn't accept it, but he is afraid of Wee Jum's strength, so he can only leave. Songjun looks at Wee Jum. At first, Hongyul's guys were just like any other classmates, until they saw that their fists were more powerful and they became like this. Songjun is afraid that Wee Jum will become like that too. Today, a new student named Gyeonja transferred in and was assigned to the same class as Sung-sik. As soon as he entered the class, Gyeonja chose a seat in the corner of the classroom. But coincidentally, that seat was Sung-sik's. Sung-sik returned to class and saw that his seat was occupied, so he got angry and yelled at Jeonjae. Jeonjae stood up to apologize to Sung-sik, but Sung-sik asked for money. Jeonjae didn't argue, but only took out a wad of money. Before giving it to Sung-sik, he wanted to ask for one more thing. He wanted to study in peace, and he hoped Sung-sik could help him do that. Sung-sik didn't expect that the new student would dare to make conditions with him. Sung-sik told Jeonjae to pay 100,000 won a month, or he would have to pay with with his body. Jeon-jae saw that Sung-sik was about to cause trouble, so he kept leaning to avoid it. Jeon-jae didn't want to fight, but Sung-sik wanted to hit him. After dodging a few times, Jeon-jae decided to fight back. Just then, the teacher appeared. Sung-sik had no choice but to be obedient again. During recess, Sung-sik got angrier and angrier, so he thought of a way to make Wi-gyum and Jeon-jae fight. Honul understood Sung-sik's intentions, so he ran back to the classroom and told Wi-gyum that Jeon-jae intended to dominate class. Jeon-jae had defeated Sung-sik and would soon come looking for Wi-gyum. Wi-gyum heard this and immediately went to find Jeon-jae. Jeon-jae was annoyed that he was being sought out. Jeon-jae called Wi-gyum to a quiet place to talk. Jeon-jae felt that there had been some misunderstanding. He didn't move here to fight. The collision with Sung-sik today was purely self-defense. Wi-gyum suddenly got angry and rushed towards Jeon-jae, but Jeon-jae hit him a few times. Sung-sik saw that Wi-gyum was in a hurry, so he rushed over to stop him. Sung-sik advised Wi-gyum to stop because he was no match for Jeon-jae. Sung-sik then apologized to Jeon-jae, saying that Wi-gyum had no intention of fighting. Wi-gyum just misunderstood that Jeon-jae was in the same group as those thugs. Jeon-jae suddenly turned to look at Wi-gyum, so what Wi-gyum was doing was no different from those thugs. Wi-gyum immediately replied that he was just punishing the bastards. Jeon-jae found Wi-gyum interesting. Jeon-jae asked Wi-gyum who decided whether a person was a bastard or not. Was Wi-gyum a good person or a bastard in the eyes of others? Those who use their fists to solve problems usually did not end well. Jun-ki waited until Jeon-jae left to educate Wi-gyum. The place where Jeon-jae used to study was called the experimental school. It was almost like a reformatory for those who had violent tendencies. In that school, the teachers encouraged the students to fight and even divided them into ranks based on strength. They had to fight every day. When they defeated all the students in the school, the winner would be transferred to the regular school. Jeon-jae was transferred here, which meant that he was the boss there. Rather than offending Jeon-jae, they should find a way to get him on their side. At this moment, Jun-ki saw Sung-sik's group following Jeon-jae, so he immediately picked up his bag and ran after them to eavesdrop. Jeon-jae also discovered the group of people following him, so he deliberately ran into a dead end and waited for them. Jeon-jae looked at Sung-sik on the opposite side and repeated once again that he just wanted to live quietly at school. However, Sung-sik wanted to fight to the end because this was a matter of his pride. Jeon-jae had no other choice. He could only fight Sung-sik and Sung-uk. Throughout the whole process, Jeon-jae beat the other two up. When both were defeated, the people behind him became scared and made way for Jeon-jae. Sung-sik once again apologized for the misunderstanding on the rooftop, then dropped the phone in his hand and signaled that he had recorded the fight. Jun-ki didn't do that to accuse Jeon-jae. He just wanted Jeon-jae to owe him a favor. At some point, Jun-ki wished Jeon-jae could help him. That night, Wi-gyum came home and was beaten by his father because of his poor midterm results and his frequent lateness to cram school. This made his father angry. Just as his father was about to give him another beating, his mother spoke up to stop him. She wanted them to stop teaching their son with violence. His way of educating him might make Wi-gyum even more spoiled. Under an old bridge, a thug named Ki-jun. He is extorting money from two fat friends. Seeing that the fat kids had no money, he angrily beat them. At that moment, two young men wearing red masks appeared again. Jun-ki signaled the fat kids to go away, but the two of them stayed behind to film. After a while of struggling, the whole group was beaten up by both of them, but Ki-jun refused to give up. He quietly picked up a stick and rushed towards Wi-gyum. That angered Wi-gyum. Wi-gyum continuously beat Ki-jun. Looking at Ki-jun at this moment reminded Wi-gyum of a violent memory. Each thrust seemed to release Wi-gyum's suppressed emotions. Wi-gyum beat him up more and more. At first, Jun-ki happily clapped for him, but after seeing Wi-gyum beat him for a while, Jun-ki realized something was wrong. It seemed that Wi-gyum had lost control. Jun-ki quickly went to stop Wi-gyum. Wi-gyum was dragged out by Jun-ki. He angrily picked up the stick from the ground. Ignoring Jun-ki's tension, Wi-gyum walked towards Jun-ki with a cold face. In Jun-ki's fear, Wi-gyum hit the stick on the wooden beam behind him. Only then did Jun-ki dare to breathe a sigh of relief. After leaving under the bridge, Wi-gyum asked Jun-ki if he had ever smoked before. Jun-ki said he used to smoke in middle school but quit a long time ago. Jun-ki feels that smoking only hurts his throat. Wi-gyum remembers the fight earlier. At that moment, he really wanted to try smoking a cigarette. Jun-ki remembered Wi-gyum's appearance just now. Jun-ki asked Wi-gyum what happened. Why was Wi-gyum so agitated? He almost made a big deal out of it. Wasn't his behavior any different from those firstborns? Wi-gyum asked Jun-ki if he regretted it. Don't forget that Jun-ki had asked Wi-gyum to join in the first place. Just as the two of them were looking at each other nervously, Jun-ki's phone rang. Gi-sung had woken up in the hospital. Jun-ki heard the news and immediately urged Wi-gyum to change. Jun-ki rushed to the hospital. When Gi-sung recognized him, Jun-ki cried with joy. After visiting Gi-sung, Jun-ki remembered the people who bullied Gi-sung. Only the last two had not been dealt with. At Wi-gyum's house, his father came back and told his mother that someone would come to clean that room tomorrow. It seemed that Wee Jum was distracted because of that room. Wee Jum's mother was surprised when she heard his decision. She asked her husband whose room it was. When he didn't answer, she knew that he didn't dare mention their deceased child. He was silent for a moment. They had suffered enough. Now it was time for them to focus on Wee Jum. When Wee Jum was mentioned, she asked him if he knew that Wee Jum's face was always bruised. Or was he only concerned about his grades? Maybe Wee Jum had gone to fight to relieve stress. Just like that year when Wee Jum's brother beat Wee Jum. At this moment, Wee Jum returned. As soon as Wee Jum entered the house, his father asked him to give him the music player. His mother signaled him to go into the room, but his father called him back. Wee Jum looked at his father. This music player was his brother's precious thing. His father asked him to be like his brother. So what's wrong with him keeping the music player? Then he asked his father if he knew why his brother liked this music player. Wee Jum's brother said that when he put on the headphones, he could go to a place where his father wasn't. It was his father who killed Wee Jum. Wee Jum's words stunned his parents. Wee Jum stared at the two of them. Wee Jum's mind flashed with the image of his broken brother. It turned out that before Wee Jum's brother died, he had tortured Wee Jum many times. At night, Wee Jum and Junki went to find Doin. Before taking action, Junki told Wee Jum not to get as agitated as last time. Wee Jum always seemed more dangerous than before. When the two entered the room, they found that Doin had been waiting for them. Doin even arranged more people. Junki felt that the situation was not good. Wee Jum did not care about that. After a while of fighting, both of them were at a disadvantage. In the end, they were captured by Doin's men. Doin had someone record a video and then took off each person's mask. When he saw Junki's face, Doin immediately recognized him. Doin disdainfully asked Junki if he came to avenge Gisum. He really did not know his own strength. When it came time to take off Wee Jum's mask, Doin did not recognize him. When Doin asked who Wee Jum was, he immediately introduced himself as the school superhero. Wee Jum's introduction made Doin's men laugh. Wee Jum took advantage of their laughter to attack and successfully escape the control of the group. Wee Jum and Junki quickly ran to the window. Junki used a chair to break the window and escaped with Wee Jum. Doin's men wouldn't let them go. They immediately chased after the two of them. Song Jun was driving to deliver the goods when he saw two people running away. Junki wanted to explain to Wee Jum, but from the moment he heard Doin mention revenge, he understood Junki's true intention, so Junki didn't need to explain anything more. Suddenly, Wee Jum asked Song Jun if he could stay overnight. He couldn't go home like this, but Song Jun didn't dare take Wee Jum home either. In the end, the two of them slept at the gym. Song Jun advised Wee Jum not to fight anymore and not to play with Junki. It was best for Wee Jum to wear headphones and focus on studying like before. This kind of fighting only needed to go through the fear stage to fight naturally, but if you fight a lot, you will get addicted and you will even cause trouble to fight. If Wee Jum likes fighting, she can learn boxing instead of fighting with people outside. While the two were talking, Wee Jum's phone rang several times, but Wee Jum refused to answer. In the end, he just texted his father and said that he would be sleeping over at a pizza place at his friend's house. The losers came to find Kisu and told him about two men in red masks. Doin showed Kisu the video he had recorded. Kisu was very interested in the self-proclaimed school hero. Kisu agreed to take care of both of them, but only if the money was increased. Since Namhuin's family didn't lack money anyway, the deal was quickly completed. The next day, Kisu went to Wee Jum's school and picked up a man to ask for directions, but the man didn't know anything. Kisu was furious. Sunsik heard that there was someone acting arrogantly in his area, so he brought someone over. When Kisu saw Sunsik, he told him to bring Junki here. Sunsik couldn't believe that he was being ordered around. Seeing that Sunsik was not listening, Kisu immediately took action to teach him a lesson. Even though Sunsik tried to fight back, he was no match for Kisu. In the end, Sunsik lost one leg. Sunsik's gang replaced him, and they were scared and called Junki. Wee Jum wanted to fight Kisu as soon as he arrived. Junki quickly stopped Wee Jum because this was Junki's personal grudge. Junki wanted Wee Jum to let him handle it. Looking at Kisu in front of him, Junki couldn't help but remember the past. They forced him and Gisung to go and rob other classmates. At that time, Junki handed over his money and said that he had robbed them. Gisung was different. He said frankly that he had not robbed anyone. That made the bullies angry. They allowed Junki to leave. Junki looked at Gisung with worried eyes. Gisung didn't want to implicate Junki, so Gisung told him to go ahead. Junki hadn't gone far when he regretted it. Junki decided to go back to Gisung, but he had only taken a few steps when he heard a scuffle. He looked up at the rooftop and saw Gisung being pushed to the edge of the rooftop by those people. Junki wanted to save Gisung, but he couldn't do anything else. He could only watch Gisung fall. Back to reality, Junki decided not to run away anymore. He rushed straight towards Kisu. Kisu looked at Junki with disdain. With just a few moves, Kisu knocked Junki away. Kisu looked towards Wee Jum and asked if Junki asked him to to take revenge? Wee-jum didn't care about the grudge between them. He just felt annoyed with the thugs, so he wanted to beat them up. As soon as Wee-jum finished speaking, he rushed towards Kisu. At first, Kisu underestimated him, so he was beaten many times. When he really got serious, Wee-jum immediately fell into a weak position. Wee-jum even had his arm broken by Kisu. Wee-jum rolled on the ground holding his arm. Seeing this, Kisu pressed down hard on Wee-jum's already thin arm. Kisu told Wee-jum that he had to choose his friends wisely or he would become crippled if he chose wrongly. Kisu didn't want to stop. He picked up the guitar and propped Wee-jum's legs up high. His intention was obvious. He would cripple Wee-jum. At this moment, Jeonjae walked in. Jeonjae told Kisu to stop. Don't make things any more noisy. Kisu of course knew who Jeonjae was. Even though he didn't want to, Kisu obediently left. Before leaving, Kisu conveniently took Wee-jum's music player and asked Wee-jum to come get it back. After finishing, Jeonjae looked at Junki and said that this time he would pay off his debt to them. Wee-jum lay on the ground, his mind becoming hazy. He remembered the time when his brother was studying for the college entrance exam. Perhaps that time was the most stressful for him. Soo-jung was under his father's strict supervision. Every time he finished studying, Soo-jung would go to Wee-jum and try to squeeze him. When Wee-jum struggled to grab Soo-jung's earphones, he suddenly woke up and saw Wee-jum rolling on the ground. Soo-jung smiled strangely and continued to hit Wee-jum. After their mother found out about this, she not only did not stop him but also comforted Soo-jung. Every time Soo-jung was stressed, he would physically attack Wee-jum. When Soo-jung passed the medical school entrance exam, Wee-jum thought that everything was over, but that was not the case. After only a month, Soo-jung came home and said that he wanted to quit school. His father was so angry that he beat Soo-jung. That night, Soo-jung went to Wee-jum again. Wee-jum thought he came to vent his anger, but Soo-jung just sat down and talked to Wee-jum. After leaving the music player, Soo-jung went to his room and jumped out of the window. Wee-jum woke up from her dream with a start. Wee-jum was already in the hospital. Junki still lied that Wee-jum fell down the stairs. Wee-jum's father didn't believe Junki. Seeing Wee-jum wake up, Wee-jum's father immediately questioned him. He would definitely put that person in jail. Wee-jum looked at his father's face and said that the person who made him like this was Nam-hwin. He wanted to see what his father would do to Nam-hwin. Hearing Nam-hwin's name, Wee-jum's father suddenly became silent. The next day, Wee-jum's father went to school to submit a withdrawal application for him. After Wee-jum was discharged from the hospital, his father would send him to study abroad in America immediately. After school, Junki went to visit Gi-sung. Gi-sung was more awake now. He just couldn't walk by himself yet. While massaging Gi-sung, Junki asked Gi-sung if he was angry with him. He shouldn't have left at that time. Gi-sung didn't expect Junki to think that way. Actually, at that time, Kisu and the others were making a bet. They were sure that Junki would come back. When he saw that Junki had really come back, Kisu decided to deal with Junki and spare Gi-sung. Gi-sung didn't want Junki to come back and take the blame, so he provoked them. Kisu was angry and pulled Gi-sung to the edge of the terrace. After Gi-sung explained everything, the guilt in Junki's heart disappeared. At night, Wee-gyum continued to have hallucinations. Wee-gyum saw Soo-gyum coming to see him. When Soo-gyum turned around and left, Wee-gyum also stood up and followed. When Wee-gyum's mother woke up, she couldn't find him. She worriedly searched for him everywhere. When she reached the terrace, she was startled and scared when she saw Wee-gyum sitting on the railing. She remembered Soo-gyum's death. She begged Wee-gyum to get down. She apologized for not being able to protect them both. She knew they had been under a lot of stress. She also knew that Wee-gyum's father was too much. But because of her greed, she had made her two children suffer. The more she spoke, the more agitated she became. When she couldn't take it anymore, she held her chest and sat on the ground. The feeling of difficulty breathing became more and more obvious. At that moment, a hand appeared and helped her up. Seeing that Wee-jum had left the dangerous place, she quickly hugged him tightly. The mother and son returned to the hospital room together. As soon as Wee-jum opened the door, he saw his father waiting for him. His father informed him about sending him to America. Wee-jum didn't want to transfer schools, but Wee-jum's father didn't let him have any say. Wee-gyum's mother pulled Wee-gyum's father out. She almost lost her son. From now on, she would protect Wee-gyum herself. The next day, Jeonjae was on his way to school when he was stopped by a group of soldiers. They were all people called by Kisu to take revenge. Jeonjae wanted to end it quickly, so he rushed to kill them all. But after finishing one group, Jeonjae encountered a more dangerous group. While struggling, Jeon was attacked by one of them, making his head dizzy. The other guy rushed over, hugged Jeonjae tightly, and threw him hard to the ground. The hard fall caused Jeonjae to dislocate his shoulder. Seeing that the group of people were about to continue beating him, Jeonjae desperately looked for a way out. Jeonjae had just run a short distance when Kisu appeared and kicked him away. Seeing that Jeonjae was still intact and running towards him, Kisu was also surprised by his strength. Now Kisu's game had just begun. He wanted to fight Jeonjae one-on-one. Kisu knew that Jeonjae had a dislocated isolated shoulder, so he aimed for Jeonjae's shoulder and attacked. Jeonjae refused to give up. He knew that Kisu's ankle had not yet healed, so he took advantage of the opening and kicked Kisu's leg a few times. Then he took advantage of the situation and punched Kisu a few more times, causing blood to flow from Kisu's mouth. Kisu angrily rushed forward again, but he was immediately grabbed by the neck by Jeonjae. Seeing Kisu stop struggling, Jeon loosened his grip. Unexpectedly, Kisu was just pretending. He immediately fought back. He knocked Jeonjae to the ground and continued to hit him. When Jeonjae could no longer resist, Kisu warned him that from now on he would have to act cool in front of others. Kisu ordered his men to finish him off and then turned around and left the alley. When Junki found out, he rushed to the hospital to visit Jeonjae. Ma Jeonjae was already bandaged all over. After Wee Jum was discharged from the hospital, his mother rented an apartment for the two of them. Wee Jum would stay there for the time being. She was also preparing to go back to work. When the wound healed, she and Wee Jum would talk about school. From now on, she hoped Wee Jum would relax and smile more. She would support whatever he wanted to do. That night, Junki went to Kisu to get Wee Jum's music player back. Kisu suddenly became interested, so he took Junki to the parking lot and told Junki to start. Although Junki was no match for Kisu, this time he hurt Kisu quite a bit. After a while of fighting, Kisu suddenly lost interest. He told Junki to take the music player and quickly leave. Meanwhile, Wee Jum was now facing his grandfather. His grandfather had brought the police and a psychiatrist to their apartment, saying that his mother had mental problems and had turned against the family. Wee Jum wanted to explain that his mother had no problems, but his grandfather did not care. Wee Jum's mother knew she could not confront him directly, so she called lawyer Seo and agreed to leave with the doctor. She looked at Wee Jum with a determined look that she would come back to pick him up soon. After seeing his mother being taken away, Wee Jum was dragged back by his grandfather. His grandfather had found a good school in America. Until he goes to America, it's best for he to stay home with grandfather. At this moment, Wee Jum received a call from Junki. After hanging up, Wee Jum opened the car door at a red light and ran away. Wee Jum's father wanted to chase after him, but couldn't catch up. His father could only helplessly watch his back. Wee Jum arrived at the place Junki had arranged to meet. Junki returned the music player to Wee Jum and apologized for dragging him into trouble. When he handed the player over, Junki added that he had fixed it a bit. Now the music player can be used again. Junki knew that Wee Jum had to go to America. This could be their last meeting. After saying goodbye to Junki, Wee Jum tried on her headphones. Wee Jum listened to the singing next to him and thought of his brother. The next morning, Wee Jum went to Kisu's school and waited for him at the school gate. When Kisu saw Wee Jum, he couldn't hide his surprise. Kisu told Wee Jum to follow him, but Wee Jum didn't agree. Wee Jum wanted to settle things here. With Wee Jum's arm still in a cast, Kisu couldn't help but look down on him. The match had just begun when Wee Jum was beaten by Kisu until he was dizzy. The two fought out to the main road. After a while, Kisu was exhausted. Wee Jum took the opportunity to fight back. Wee Jum's punch made Kisu angry. Kisu rushed over, grabbed Wee Jum, and threw him towards a nearby car. Wee Jum's whole body hit the car window, shattering it. Seeing this, everyone around quickly moved away from the two of them. Kisu laughed and told Wee Jum that fighting was indeed the best way to relieve stress. Kisu approaches Wee Jum and asks if he is having fun. Kisu tells Wee Jum that the reason they like to fight is because they are both trash. Kisu's words remind Wee Jum of his father. Wee Jum laughs and tries to stand up. Wee Jum will never be like Kisu. The two continue to fight like each other. Wee Jum used his casted arm to hit Kisu's head so hard that Kisu's head started bleeding profusely. Wee Jum used his hand to peel off the remaining plaster on his hand and then threw a finishing punch. Kisu lay flat on the ground and looked at Wee Jum's music player. Kisu felt that they were just like that machine. They were all broken and no one could fix them anymore. Wee Jum didn't want to listen to Kisu, so he kept punching Kisu in the face. Looking at Wee Jum's crazy actions, Kisu guessed that he was also beaten by his family. What a pitiful person. Wee Jum angrily told Kisu to shut up. At this moment, Wee Jum had another hallucination. Wee Jum saw Kisu turn into his brother, then he turned into Wee Jum's father, and then he turned into himself. Wee Jum madly beat Kisu. Wee Jum wanted to dispel those illusions. He thought that Wee Jum had lost control, but he suddenly stopped. Kisu didn't expect Wee Jum to stop. He wanted to see Wee Jum finish this. Wee Jum smiled coldly and put on his headphones, then turned back to Kisu. When Wee Jum was about to finish with Kisu, Junki and Wee Jum's father appeared again. Junki advised Wee Jum to stop here. Wee Jum's father was extremely shocked. He had never seen Wee Jum like this. In the presence of the two of them, Wee Jum stopped and looked up at the sky. Now he remembered his dream. He liked the blue sky, and this would be his first flight. Wee Jum looked at his father. To everyone's surprise, Wee Jum stomped on Kisu's chest. Sometime later, Wee Jum's mother found a new school for him. It was the special school that Jeonjae had attended. On the day she sent Wee Jum off to school, she told him to take care of himself. She would wait for him there. After Wee-jum got into the car, he saw Joon-ki sitting next to him. Joon-ki had also applied for a transfer. When the bus arrived at the school gate, the homeroom teacher announced everyone to get off the bus. Seeing that some students were still unconscious, the teacher immediately used physical force to wake them up. Wee-gyum and Joon-ki looked at the gate in front of them. In this school, they had to fight until they were in the top 10 to have a chance to transfer. There would definitely be a lot of interesting things waiting for them. The movie ended here. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, and see you again.